when I spit bars in a rave. Man, I go hard like Santan.
Hello and welcome to another Touchline Gunners podcast. It's your boy Dankoogs on hosting duty again, and I'm joined by my good friend and namesake German DG. How you doing, my guy?
I'm good, man. I'm blessed. I'm all right. I'm alive.
Yeah, alive and kicking, man. Alive and kicking, man. That's what I like to hear, man. That's what I like to hear. The man them are busy at the moment, but we're making time, especially to make sure we jump on these pods, man. So we come to you, listeners, off the back of a 1-1 draw away to Atletico Madrid in the semi-final of the Champions League. And it's weird one. I'm kind of in mixed feelings because I don't think there's anything to really crash out about in that match from an Arsenal perspective, from the manager, from the players, etc. I think there's a few discussion points, though. I do think there's a few discussion points. And my overwhelming feeling right now is one of you'll take it. You'll take it, bigger picture. From what I saw from Atletico Madrid, I'll be incredibly disappointed if we're not able to turn them over at the Emirates, to be honest. I think we gave a good account of ourselves today. They weren't, pushovers. I think they definitely gave a good account of themselves today as well. I think our goal was probably the busiest of the two overall. But I think, really we should be beating them at the Emirates, man. So Dan, tell me how you're feeling right now.
Yeah, I think nothing to really crash out about, in my opinion. I think the only thing before the game even kicked off, I didn't like that lineup. Just thought that front three, we've seen it so many times. It's turnover central, just not much belief in that front three, to be honest, as a collective, especially to do much or anything. So I was disappointed with that. I think he could have been a bit more inventive and creative, and this was one of my criticisms of him, especially since January, that when we got one or two players missing, that are key players for the way we play, like he needs to find different solutions rather than just putting Gyökeres up front, Nelly on the left and Noni on the right. I feel like, and I know Trossard hasn't scored in ages, but Trossard for the middle, something we could have trialed. Martinelli for the middle, something we could have trialed. And we're not this late in the season. He hasn't tried any of that. So, not surprised that he's not going to trial it in the Champions League game in the semi-final. But I think, overall disappointed that those three started. And I also thought that maybe Gabriel Jesus could have started. Like, I just felt like they needed to be a bit more ball playing. Saying all of that, and then, Dan, I'm a firm believer in the end justifies the means sort of thing. So yeah, I mean, the first half we were better than them. We did quite well. We dominated the game. We got our goal. Gyökeres, emphatically put the penalty away. Did well to win that. Good exchange from Zubimendi and Ødegaard. Zubimendi especially did well. And I thought, okay, this is shaping out to be, a dogged classic European away performance. And once you 1-0 up, I feel like we're the type of team we should be able to see a game out. That's the DNA of this team. So I'm disappointed that this has ended up in a draw. Because I thought it would be a no-score draw. I did think it'd be a draw from the off. But once we scored and we scored first, I felt like we should have tried, we should have seen it out. And actually, the way the first half went, I felt like, we can put the game put the tie to rest, to be honest, get that second goal, and I think the tie is done. So it's not a fumble because, as you said, it's an okay result. It's actually, a professional result to get away from home, and it's a tough place to go. I think Simeone still hasn't lost a game in the knockout phase at home. But I
think he does. I think he just did in the last round against
Barcelona.
Okay. Yeah, but that's the first time.
Okay, so, but they got a good bracket there. So, and it is a bit of a difficult place to go to. But just felt the opportunity was there to end it. So yeah, but slightly disappointed with that. But overall, as you said, we should have enough to. I mean, not should have. We have enough to put them away at the Emirates. And to be honest, like if we play the right lineup, we should be putting two past these guys, at least in my opinion. So, confident in the next game, but like it's on these guys to deliver, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think that's right, man. I agree with a lot of the points that you said here. So let's get into the lineups, right? Because I think James Bench put out a tweet 13th of April, to say open play creation when Gyökeres and Martinelli start together is 0.29 XG. Arsenal on a season averaging just over 1 XG per game from open play. So that is, when these two are playing on a pitch together, you're getting a third of what you normally see. And he said that the numbers get slightly worse when you start Gyökeres, Martinelli, and Madueke. It drops to 0.19 XG from open play, right? So you're talking about less than a fifth of what you would normally see in terms of open play creativity when these lot play together, right? And so, I think
it's a forestry from hell, bro. It really is.
I'm really, really and to be honest, like I hear when people talk about the system and this, that, and other, and maybe if you're playing a different type of system that is, really free flowing, say, like if you're playing under Hansi Flick and you're getting loads of, super technical guys just constantly playing you in behind, or you're playing under Jurgen Klopp and you're creating loads of transitions through, the gegenpress and high turnovers, etc. Maybe that front three can work together, right? So, there's other teams that play with free runners, etc., low touch kind of forwards who can generate chances for them. But fundamentally, we have a certain game model, if I'm going to take your words, and those three together, they do not fit the game model because we do a lot of our building and sustaining attacks and generating of attacks through the wide areas, right? Noni, yes, you can dribble, but when it comes to doing anything other than that, there's question marks.
Even dribbling, I'm not sure, bro.
I'm gonna give him that one. I'm gonna give him that one because good dribblers know where the white lines are. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. But we play with our best football under this manager has come with a number 9 who is a good ball handler who can drop in and really help knit play, be an extra man and extra outlet in possession, and then out of it, there's someone who's able to press, right? Same thing with Martinelli on the other side. Yeah. So I look at it and I say, if you can maybe get away with having one guy that doesn't suit your model playing, but having 3 is a madness. It essentially makes the front 3 a black hole. And to a couple of these guys' credit, actually, I think Noni and Gyökeres were probably more secure today than what we have seen from them in recent weeks, which is why I actually think the first half performance was probably a lot better than what we were necessarily expecting. But then I think in the second half, as Atletico decided to really put the pressure on, the ball just kept coming back. We couldn't retain it, and their sort of change in style, I think, led to the manager having to make some changes to adjust and bring on more technical players to be able to really keep the ball. But so I personally think that it's probably too late now for him to try anything new.
That's what I mean. That's what I was trying to allude to in my earlier bit, that he had the opportunity since January to tinker about a little bit on even Zubimendi in midfield, trying to test what Norgard and Rice could look like, or Norgard, how MLS could look like. He hasn't really deviated from his framework of what he's been working on, and that is something he's not going to change now unless there's like mad injuries. So, and even when we had mad injuries, he was still riding it to the wheels fall off. And I think that's a real criticism of him this season. I think I tweeted the other day, and I've said it in the group chat a couple of weeks back, like I think there's 4 key mistakes that he's made since January that for me are the reason why. Right now we're 6 games away, or 6 wins away from immortality. To quote what they said on the commentary today, it's the reality. Like, this is the closest I've seen the football club be to Premier League and Champions League in the same season. But realistically, we have not put ourselves in the best position to win all of these 6 games, given the 4 mistakes he's made. And number one's for me, there's been lots of back and forth in group chat, and you have been on the other end, to my opinion on this. But I think as a football club and the way we play with a lot of intensity, a lot of physicality. We play in lots of games, and trying to win all 4 competitions for me was just stupid. I think he should have prioritized the Champions League and the Premier League significantly, not sufficiently, significantly, and especially even when we playing away against Chelsea, Saka and these men, they shouldn't play. Like, he should have not sacked them off, but trust the squad then. But these other guys need to rest, because we need them in good shape in April and May. So I've been of that opinion, and I think the team definitely looks like he's been in a lot of the broadcasters have covered that Arsenal look fatigued, their press is not as good, and I think I've been saying this since Jan, that I see it coming and I feel like it's coming. The second part is the Gyökeres thing. Like, nothing against the guy, honest worker, but he's just shit. And the fact that he hasn't looked to find a solution for Havertz not being there and having someone else play for the middle. We have seen Trossard play for the middle, and we've played some of the best we've played with Trossard as the false nine dropping in. Not trying to Zeus at all. I can get a little bit, understand a little bit. But the Trossard and Martinelli not being tried in the middle, for me, is inexcusable, to be honest. That's the second bit. And then the third one, I think Zubimendi has really struggled with this schedule. Like, he has played too much. That's the reality. He is fatigued. He's never played this amount of minutes. He's never played at this jeopardy in the end of the season in his career. He's been at Sociedad and he's been a good player, but he's never played in Champions League semi-finals, Champions League quarterfinals, and in title runs against Pep Guardiola. So the guy is cooked. That doesn't excuse that he doesn't want to play forward anymore, but it's probably a contributing factor. So his poor form, what are the solutions that we can find within the team? Not use MLS, not use Norgard. I think Norgard is a very credible solution to try use. We've seen him in some games, passing the ball forward. He's a physical player. He can cover ground. Like, I don't get why we haven't tried that. And that's poor. And the very last one is, I think Nwaneri's loan, like, retrospectively, is definitely a mistake. At the time, he might have said he's not getting minutes at Arsenal, X, Y, and Z. But when you look at the fact that Odegaard has missed majority of the Premier League season, like he has, has been out of form since before January. Really, he was coming. I think since December he's probably been out of form. Marino got injured. Who are the other guys? And then you have to rely on Madueke. Like, in this period where Madueke has played poorly, Noni would have probably come in when Saka was in away as well. And Noni would have probably been dropped for a couple of games, and when he would have shown his quality like he did when Saka was injured last season. So retrospectively, 100% a poor decision, and he's not even playing on his loan. So if he does these things differently, I think we're probably ahead of City right now. So, and that is a bit annoying. In the Champions League, we can still do this game by game, innit? But I don't know what you think on. And we discussed the first one, but what do you think of the other points? Are there other mistakes that you think he's made, especially since January, that I think we could have been in that position?
Yeah, for me, I think the actual glaring one are the two that you've mentioned. Fundamentally, I think my judgment on the midfield was that we left the midfield light anyway, because I wasn't necessarily sure how much Marino could contribute this season playing in the midfield. I wasn't too confident that Rice and Marino is a midfield that I like. Haven't really seen Zubimendi Marino since the Sociedad days, so I was kind of shaky about that one. I genuinely thought we'd done that so Miles would get more minutes in midfield and be a genuine midfield option, because otherwise I didn't really understand why we necessarily needed to go out and sign a Hincapié if you thought that was going to be Miles's primary position, right? Especially for, I think, the amount of money that we have kind of allocated to him. So to me, it all screamed that we're going to have Rice, Zubi, Marino, Norgard. I didn't anticipate wouldn't play as much as this, because fundamentally the reason he was brought in over maybe someone like an Agume and stuff like that was the Premier League experience, replacing Partey and Jorginho's maybe, experience, know-how, knowledge of the league, where someone like Zubimendi, new to the league, someone like Miles, not been trusted in midfield in the league or generally yet. So if the manager couldn't necessarily rely on these two, Norgard steps in and he just gives you steady Eddie there, right? So the fact that he's not lent on either of those two men, even after Marino got injured, I think is crazy, to be honest. I can't justify that, especially when you look at some of the performances. Yeah, the minutes
and performances. They're both
the performances. Yeah, because that's my thing. Like early in the season, some of our best performances came when it was I think it was the one Zubimendi was benched a couple of times early on. Didn't stay on the bench. I think he started Rice, Odegaard, Eze in one match, maybe against West Ham. And I think Forest, he started Zubimendi, Marino, and Odegaard.
And then Odegaard got injured.
And then Odegaard got injured in both those matches. Ethan comes on in one. Zubimendi comes on in another, I believe. And you end up in a situation where now Ethan is not trusted in the 10. Zubimendi's now started every single Premier League match since then. Marino's gotten injured, and we still ain't seen some of these guys. So I do think that during the season is you need to try things, and then you can stumble on a solution, right? And I think that's what we've actually seen him do in previous years, where you've tried certain things, and then once you've stumbled on something, you found players. And I think that's what Pep does every year, is he finds someone, he finds players, he finds a combination that actually works, so that when you're in the crunch time, you've got guys who are all fit and able to contribute because they've had some sort of sequencing of minutes and stuff like that, right? So, if Zubimendi gets injured in the next game, what do we do? Who's he going to play? You know what I'm saying? Because these men don't even come off in a match. They don't come off. They play 90s. So, who would actually step in if Rice went down? He got sent back from England. They said red zone. He's been carrying something. Bro, if he twists his ankle, we got 4 games left. Who is coming on and playing those minutes? I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a crazy
one. But he hasn't played since God knows when.
Mate, since maybe like FC Kairat,
it's been a long while, yeah.
Because League Cup, he didn't play the semi. That's what we played in 2026. I don't think he's featured since the Champions League group stage finished. FA Cup, maybe Mansfield. I think he played. Southampton, maybe he played. And half of Norgard's minutes have been at centre back as well. So, the funny allocation of minutes for me, especially now when you look at where our performances are dying, right? I think our press has suffered because the midfield can't really keep up with it and get out the pitch, cover the space. I think our lack of compactness when we're defending, clean sheets have gone out the window because the spacing's all wrong, for me. So, yeah, I think it's a big negligent thing in terms of his mistakes this year. And then I do echo the Gyökeres thing, man. Like, I don't want to shit on him because I actually thought he was decent today. Yeah. Which is a low bar. It is
decent for what he can do.
Yeah, it's a low bar. It is, but I don't want to just be like, oh, Gyökeres, because again, for me, you could find alternative solutions.
It's more on the manager. Like, we know what the highest level is now, so
you could find alternative solutions, and I don't think we've done enough to really try and find solutions. That it's not even just about starting matches, right? You can bring Trossard on for the last 20. You get what I'm saying? You can do certain things, right? Because even if you want to play the Havertz in midfield, you say, I've not got anyone in midfield. It doesn't have to be Gyökeres up top. Get what I'm saying? Like, we've seen Havertz play in midfield with Trossard. And
it was one of the we played.
and have success with that formula. right?
Because they can switch and export. Gyökeres
exactly.
He can't go wide. He can't go drop deep.
Exactly. It's too. I think we lose all dynamism when he's there, right? We've seen Martinelli, even though the manager does not like Martinelli up top. I think that's well documented now that he's just not really willing to use him there. But second half against Anfield, he moved him up top. He scores a goal. You get what I'm saying? So it's like you've done it in certain scenarios. We're 2-0 down, chasing the match, this, that, and the other. And I think he's been way too rigid in some of his thought processes. It's literally Havertz playing up top. If he's not fit, Gyökeres is playing up top. Then maybe I'll use Jesus, right? If Havertz is not fit, and then because Jesus ain't been featuring in recent weeks either,
at all. I was surprised he came on today.
Yeah, left wing is Trossard, Martinelli. We ain't seen Eze used left wing past. He started his first match left wing. Did Aston Villa, I believe, when Eze came back.
Yeah.
When Odegaard came back, sorry. And then since then, he's basically only been using the 10. And that's another solution where it's like, can we see you with Ethan? Can we see, Eze on the left? Because I think you've now actually turned a big squad into a small one because you're not willing to use certain guys in certain positions. And that's led to fatigue,
We were quite unpredictable for the season. As it could be playing in the middle, he could be playing with Odegaard, Rice could be the 6. We have become very predictable since January. Yeah, I agree with that. And I think it's down to his choices. And the decisions he's made that I think he gotten wrong. I mean, as I said, to quote Machiavelli, if he wins, then he's been justified in his decisions and selections. Ultimately, that doesn't mean that they were always correct. He's just been justified in them in the end goal. It's still worth criticizing. Let's see where we land, but it would be a fumble if we don't win all of the games. I think Champions League final is a different one, but I expect us to be in the final. And we should be winning all the Premier League games, so we should be getting a minimum of 5 wins out of the next 6 games. Assuming we get in the Champions League final, that is the expectation we have to set, and that's the clear expectation. But I don't really think he's got any excuses if that doesn't happen. He got us in a very good position in January, but we could have been away in the league already. And imagine if we'd be 6-9 points up in the league, we're playing Fulham on the weekend. We're rotating the whole team, and then playing Atletico. It just puts you in a much better position. We don't have that now. Every game is jeopardy again, which increases the anxiety. Which is, I'm critical of fans being like quiet in the stadium and stuff, but I think it's only natural given that the club hasn't won anything in so long, and the team is also not playing well. So people watching the games and that's the natural feeling. It's difficult to switch off what you naturally feel. And the expectations on the team to win the crowd over. So the Atletico game is important for them to get that goal in the first 30 minutes, ideally. Get that 1-0, then the players will be jumping. But if we're starting slow and if we're conceding in the first 30, yes, it's going to be quiet. So it's really, they need to find that second gear. If they have to take some drugs, take that shit and take the doping by next year. They're not taking away trophies, clearly.
Yeah, I hear it, man. I hear it. And fundamentally, it looks like from the reporting this week, Havertz should be back for the Fulham match, whether he's fit enough to start. Yeah. So they said he should be able to take part in all of the remaining Premier League games, right? So.
Oh, really? I didn't even. Yeah. I thought it was.
I think
part in the run-in, which
Calafiori's back in the squad. I'm seeing people say Timber's back soon as well. So
but they've been telling me soon for 5 weeks.
Yeah, so these are the man they said we were faking, lying about in the international break and whatnot. Yeah. So
people thought they were lying.
Bro, we've been battered by injuries since mate. Since that international break. So I'm hoping that these guys, if they do come back, that can be some added freshness into the team, because I don't think we can bang out the same 11 for those 6 games if we
I'm
want
not
to.
gonna lie. Yeah,
If we want to
White
win,
looks
man.
cooked. We
Yeah.
haven't talked about him. I think people have been quite quiet about him. Maybe we should keep it quiet so we can sell him and get some money. But that boy is cooked.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, he's cooked.
Yeah. So let's actually look at the performance, right? So I've already mentioned that I actually thought Gyökeres was decent today. I thought Madueke had a decent first half as well. To be honest, I thought we really had a professional performance in the first half. Deserved to be 1-0 up. I think we had 2, sort of really good openings in that first half. I know
Hincapié and Odegaard, right?
Yeah, the Hincapié and the Odegaard one. I think that's good work from Noni, good work from Gyökeres. And I think, it's kind of irritating to me because I feel like if we had our guys, that could have been a 2-0 first half, Atletico come out second half, and then we just smoked them. You get what I'm saying? Because they are not the Atletico of old, where they're not giving up chances. You'll find it really difficult to break them down. Like second half, I don't think we did particularly much. Going forward.
Sorry to interrupt. Do you know what annoyed me as well? Because I wanted Martinelli to take on that fullback. Sounds peak, but get some corners, bro. You're just going back rather than trying to take him on. If it's a corner, rises. We know Noni's delivery is it's very inconsistent. Sometimes he's quite good with the near post delivery, but it's not Saka's level of delivery, is it? But getting Rice to deliver the ball into the box would have been a nice threat. We didn't get to see it because
and that's how we scored 2 goals against them in the group stage game as well, right? To open the game up. I think that's bang on. To be honest, I think we only had 1 corner in this match, from what I remember, maybe 2.
I think 2. I remember Madueke taking 1, which was cleared at the near post, and I think maybe there was a second one.
Maybe.
Not enough.
Not enough. Especially for the amount
territory to
exactly. I was going to say for the amount of territory and possession that we actually had in that first half. Yeah, definitely not enough. I think that's a great point. To be honest, and so yeah, I thought we deservedly led. Then we come out in the second half. I think Atletico and Simeone adjusted a couple of things. They made a couple of substitutions, changed the defense around, moved Llorente forward, and then started to really aggressively press us as well from the start of the second half. And I'm not sure that the players on the pitch really reacted that well to that change in tactics and personnel. We see, Zubimendi lose the ball, which led to the chance that gets blocked over the bar by Gabriel that they actually end up getting the penalty from, where the subsequent corner was played to the edge, shot Ben White. And then I think after that we saw a couple sloppy giveaways. Rice passed the ball off the pitch, under limited pressure. And I was really saying, like, look, this, I was saying it in the chat, like, look, these men need to keep their heads, like, and not crumble here, because it was looking like the momentum had just completely shifted after that penalty was given. I personally think, those pens are nonsense. We saw it yesterday. Yesterday's one was probably worse than today, but we saw it yesterday. Like, I think you're kind of just giving away 3 goals for nothing in this match. Like, players have arms. Ben White, that's not an egregious handball for me. I don't think that should be given personally, but we know what the Champions League is on.
It's a pen in the Champions League, right? Yeah. I do agree they're nonsense, but once I saw it, I was like, yeah, hit his hand. And the unfortunate bit as well is that it hit his knee before, right? But White's hand moves towards the ball. So I was like, that's definitely given. So, yeah. I mean, I don't think it's deliberate or anything like that. I think in the Premier League that doesn't get given, but yeah. I think it's cheap. And then, I mean, we haven't really talked about the probably biggest decision of the game. Like, probably we don't want to wait. I think they wasted a lot of time in their post-game commentary on it. It's just I don't understand how they overturn that decision. It's not clear and obvious error. There's contact in the box. It's the Champions League. We have seen penalties with little contact given here, not overturned. Like, they just generally give cheaper penalties and easier penalties. Even that one from Eze, that probably is a penalty in the Premier League and shouldn't get overturned, because again, it's not clear and obvious because there's contact. So I do think we have been fucked over there.
The thing that makes no sense here. What has the referee given the penalty for? he saw the guy as they get the ball and the guy not get the ball and trip Eze up. What you've seen on the screen is exactly what the guy has given a penalty for. So it's not like, oh, I didn't. You saw no contact, right?
Yeah.
And actually, it's a dive. It's not like, oh, the defender got some of the ball. You get what I mean? That means it's not a free kick.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he got none of the ball.
So he got none of the ball, and he got the man. So how can you overturn that? It makes no sense. On what basis are you overturning that? Because if you're overturning that, you need to book Eze. Because otherwise, if it's not a dive, it's a foul. Simple as. It just makes no sense to me. So I agree, and I think that is pretty annoying that was overturned. And I feel like we just don't get this luck in the Champions League sometimes, because you think back to the Bayern 2-2
Saka, that's a penalty
Saka one. Well. I'm sorry, that is probably more of a stonewall than this one in that, and that wasn't given. The referee wasn't sent to the screen there, and I'm just like, when are we going to get some of that, fortune when it comes to getting some of these decisions? Because for me, I don't really understand the referee or the VAR call here to even send him to the screen, because what are you showing him here that he's not seen?
Yeah, He had a perfect view of the incident as well. It's not like, you know what I mean? So yeah, just very frustrating. But saying all of that, they just need to go and get the job done, man. I don't want any wahala. So get the job done at home. And I'll tell you, this is an ice bucket challenge for you. Pick a cohesive front three.
Yeah. I am hoping, right? So Saka got what, 20 minutes today?
I'm off the bench.
Eze got longer than him, so I'm hoping Eze's fitter, because it looks like Odegaard had some strapping on his knee. I seen he was getting some treatment from the sidelines before the substitution was made as well. So it looks like he might be cooked again.
Oh, that's why they took him off.
Yeah,
he did look annoyed, but people were saying he looked annoyed, but I didn't know about the strapping. It's probably because he's probably felt some pain or something like that.
So that's the techie one, because I would love to go to Fulham with being able to play all three of them, Saka, Odegaard, Eze behind the striker. We have not seen that.
We have not seen Saka, Odegaard, Eze, and Havertz in one team this season.
Yeah. Since I think December 24, they said we've not seen that. Yeah. So, obviously we've not seen Eze, but we haven't seen Havertz, Odegaard, and Saka since December 24. That's pretty mad. To be honest, pretty mad. So yeah, for Fulham, I'm hoping Saka's got enough to at least start that game. To be honest, I'm hoping Eze's got enough to start that game. Hoping Odegaard's got enough to start that game, because I'm not going to lie, that Odegaard cameo, sorry, not that Odegaard cameo, that Trossard cameo, horror, absolute horror.
It was bad. He won me over first half of the season, but he has, I was like, okay, Trossard is going to give us something this season, and then it's just been bad. I think since he scored that goal against Sunderland,
niche,
nothing. Yeah,
absolute niche. So yeah, so let's go some listeners' questions, man. And we'll try and rattle through these. It says, Yonko Abs, try to explain that Saka performance.
So what do you say?
Try to explain that Saka performance.
Listen, brother. We'll speak next week. Let's see where we are next week. Boy, oh boy. I'm fighting these Elise wars, and this is what my boys serve him up. All that good fortune. It's getting to a stage where people can write off what Saka has done because he's not playing well, and he's, or when he's coming on, he's not playing well, and he's not really had a good season. People are saying, "Oh yeah, but it's been 2 years." Saka was, before his injury, he was amazing.
Yeah,
before injury, he was amazing. Then he came back. He even cooked Real Madrid and PSG when he came back. So I don't know how he served up this season, because he looked all right when he came back. Don't get me wrong, he was fully fit, but I was like, yeah, this guy's. They were calling him the torturer, bro, in Spanish.
Yeah,
What happened to you? What?
the thing is, it's mad. So, like, I'm not gonna lie. I think pre-December, he still looked very sharp. Yeah, and it was just in front of goal where I was questioning him. To be honest, there were games against, I think Fulham away. I think the first game against Wolves at home. There was a number of games where I was thinking like, yeah, this guy's actually, dribbling really well, playing really well, but it was not coming off for him. Yeah, like I'm seeing Saka have 7 shots in a game, bro, and not leave with a goal or an assist. 8 shots, 5 dribbles. You're not leaving with a goal and an assist. I'm like, yo, big man, like, what's going on? We need some goals here. And then I think since there was a game where he came off before the match, holding his hip or something like that, and then I remember thinking, it's mad. It was one of them ones where I seen the lineup, and I'm like, cool. I put my phone away. I was going to do bedtime, and I've come back out, and I'm seeing Madueke on the pitch. I'm like, yo, what's going on? And they said Saka's. I was like, what's happened here? And then they say, oh, Saka had a hip injury, and since then he has looked diabolical in almost every performance. I think the Brighton at home one, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Leverkusen away might have been the most diabolical performance I've ever seen from Saka in my entire life. It was crazy what he was doing. And then today he's coming on, bro, where are your studs? Like, where are your studs? He's just slipping and sliding all over the place, losing the ball.
Yeah, even the way he was receiving the ball was not the way he usually receives the ball. Like by the touchline, he's touching with his left foot. Usually touch it with your right foot, open it up. I was like, little details. I'm like, that boy he's not looking right now.
Yeah, he's not. So, boy, we need him to rise in these final few games because that was that was a bit peak. Yeah. Ranch Dingus has said, when do you think Arteta will learn to keep at least one fast winger at the end of games? The press was crazy once both Noni and Nelly were off the pitch. I think this also leads back to the starting lineups point, right? So I think number one, he sort of plays all of the in behind profiles together. I think Noni is actually probably more of a ball to feet guy, but he's just not that secure.
In their mind, he probably is a ball to feet guy.
But he's just not secure enough in possession to be a ball to be a ball to feet guy, right? Like, how can you have a ball to feet guy who just loses the ball as much as someone who flipping dribbles and runs in behind? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, so I proper dislike that signing so much, man. I proper dislike that signing. Yeah, but my thing is, like, he then does this thing where it's not even like he changes them gradually. He does the triple sub at once, and I'm like, I don't understand why you need to do that, because let the sub come in and fill the game with guys already up to speed, rather than having 3 men come and fill the game at the exact same time. Like, I personally don't think there was a need to take off Noni, Nelly, and Gyökeres all at the same time. So now you've got a fresh front 4, none of who are warmed. And then when the press was coming, these men were just losing it. All 3. Trossard, first touch, lost the ball. Eze, first touch, lost the ball. Saka, first touch, lost the ball.
But we were getting beat up by Atletico Madrid. They increased in their aggression, and we came on we brought on 4 Lele guys. It's like, no, this is not the vibe right now, guys. Yeah, but the technical level in the end did give us that platform to potentially win the game. But yeah, I do agree. Like, this triple sub thing doesn't work. You need to sequence the subs. Yes, you bring on Eze first, then bring on Jesus, then bring on Saka, then bring on maybe Trossard. Like, you can't, these 3 together, like, it just, we're hoping to get intensity, but what we're actually gaining is people that need to find themselves into the game. So it takes us back a bit rather than puts us on the front foot.
Agreed.
It's quite good doing subs in a sequential manner early this season when we were getting goals off the bench. Like, he's kind of regressed in that part, I think.
Yeah, for me, and I think as well in terms of some of the guys that Eze has done well with. I think he actually has quite a good relationship with Martinelli in terms of finding some of his passes in behind. And I don't think Eze is kind of a chance creator out of nothing type of guy. I think he's more of a shooter. But then where I think he actually is quite good is passing into transitions or passing into runners, right? And I think if you're taking away guys who are like going to stretch and running behind, you're kind of taking away one of his superpowers, and you're asking him to, essentially just become a shooter. And I just think complementary profiles this like all season has just been off. Fullbacks and wingers, centre mids, and
the matchmaking is crazy.
It's just mad. Like everything is
Zion and the BBL girl. Like, why are we doing this kind of thing?
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, the old chemistry that they used to do in Ultimate Team. All the lines are orange and red, man. All the lines are orange and red all over the pitch, man. So yeah, I think that criticism is valid. Okay. So a boy named Hus said after watching that Saka performance, how much we take through in the summer. We kind of spoken on Saka, so we don't need to go through that. King Keshi 13 says, evening fellas, bit of a fun one to lighten the mood. Rank Madueke, Gervinho, and Pepe. For me, that's easy. I can't lie.
Yeah.
Pepe, Gervinho, Madueke for me.
I think Pepe is the best out of the lot. This is, and in a way, this is where I might be a sicko, but sometimes the fan base needs to experience the shitness real up close to understand that when you were crashing out over Pepe, and when you were crashing out over Havertz, it can get worse. It can get worse. Madueke and Gyökeres is worse. Way worse.
Way worse, man.
I can't believe we did that. Bro.
The Mad Wakey one, is the one that really pains me. I think, because I think Gyökeres one. I definitely wanted him. Yeah, I never envisaged that he would be this bad.
Yeah, same.
But fundamentally,
I gave him a chance. I was once we were going for him, I was on board. I was like, okay, he's not going to be a footballer, but can he be a shooter kind of thing?
I can justify that signing in my head, right? Be like, look, you talking about you need to be ready now. He scored 1 million goals in Portugal. Yes, there's going to be some tax, but
you took a chance.
He should score some goals here. And to be fair, he has scored some goals here. But you now look at the bigger picture. Let's dive deeper. You can't just look at 19 goals. You've blanked in 24 out of 31 games that we played in the Premier League. You've only scored against teams basically in the bottom 5 positions in the league. Yeah. You're not even getting shots off against teams in the top 10.
He got 0 shots off against Wolves, 0 shots off against Brentford as well.
In games that we're dropping points in. You know what I'm saying? So for a top club to bring a player of that quality to this club, it should be impossible for me at this stage for the price that we paid. Yes, you can end up with dead players like a Marquinhos that you bought for 2-3 mil. You're taking a punt
for a young 25.
You're taking a punt.
Yeah.
Serious, considerable outlay on a marquee player should never be this bad. Noni Madueke as well. Yeah. When you're talking about, I want to add X factor to and output and all of this to my front line, someone who's going to turn tight games and all of this, you can't be bringing man who don't put up numbers that you've watched live in the Prem. I think the hashtag stuff maybe is a bit too far, but boy, what the fans know, man. What the fans know. Like I don't think fans know much, but I think when Chelsea fans are happy to see man go, Arsenal fans are doing petitions not to bring this guy. Red flags, man. Red flags. I'm sorry. red flags. I think that signing is actually inexplicable and unforgivable. Personally, I just think it's madness, proper madness. He's got 2 league goals, 1 assist in like 25 appearances. What is that?
Games, plenty of games. He's actually had plenty of minutes. He started the Champions League final today. I think he started the final as well. Semi-final, yeah. I think he started the quarter-final. He started the flipping Carabao Cup final as well, didn't he?
No, he came on. Saka started.
Okay.
Saka started, he came on, but yeah,
he's
played in it.
Yeah,
he played in it. King Keshi's asked another question. He says, "We urgently in need of a left winger this summer. Who would be your top 3 targets for that role?"
Left wing.
I think we need a Kvaratskhelia. I think we have to try and get a top team's winger. Personally,
I just wonder if he's even available. Like, I mean, if he's available, yeah, you should try and move mountains to get him. That should be the signing you should be looking to make. I just have my doubts he's available. Obviously, I think Diamonde is the one that everyone talks about now. I've seen him in the Bundesliga. To be fair, he's a good player. He's very fast. Like his speed is not it's not one of those like, oh yeah, he might be fast. He is fast. I do think he has good close control as well. He can play left and right. I just don't know how transferable his skills are to defenders that are more physical. Like, I don't think at the moment, he can go past him, and don't get me wrong, because he's fast. But I just don't know if his dribbling is going to be as peak as it is in the Bundesliga, where he's basically having a jolly up, to be honest. But he's obviously one to look at. Like, I think PSG have been linked with him. I'm not a fan of Barcola, just for the simple fact that I think we need to sign forwards that are XG cheaters, forwards that we think they can. I mean, Bakula got some of this. He can generate chances. He can get chances. That's always a positive. But we also need someone that can actually finish. And Bakula misses plenty of chances. Like, I'm a fan of Havertz. I still think he's a valuable squad player, and I've always said as a squad player, he's very valuable. And it's actually bad that we haven't been able to sign a forward that is better than him since he's been here. But I don't think we need to sign a Havertz on the wing. That's what I view Bakula. Like, yeah, more technical, but someone that gets lots of chances but misses lots. I think we need to supplement the attack with more distinguished quality. So I wouldn't want to go for him, to be honest. Who do you have in mind?
Do you know what? It's a very, very difficult one for me, man. I'm not watching a lot of football at the moment, other than Arsenal. So I don't really have names. I'll tell you who I don't want. I do not want Anthony Gordon to touch left wing.
I mean, yeah, we are linked, aren't we?
Yeah, I do not want that. I personally would take a Barcola. Just because he can like really dribble, and I think he probably would be the best dribbler at the club for me, in terms of beating a man. And I think that's something we've literally just not had on the left wing for years, if we're being honest, probably since Alexis Sanchez, if I'm just thinking about it. Pepe could dribble a bit, but predominantly right wing. He played some games left wing, and Saka did it a little bit when he played left wing, but we've not really had a direct left winger who can take on a man. So yeah, I think I would take Barcola. I agree, Kvaratskhelia. That comp that someone put in this week of Mika Götze, I'm intrigued by that. I can't say I've watched him. Yeah, I'm very, very intrigued by that, and that profile of someone who looks like they're more of a, again, creative person on the left wing who can still beat a man. Right, that's something I'd be very interested in us looking at. Actually, it's just popped into my head now. I've just been describing that player. Iliman Ndiaye is someone who I'd be up for signing as well, in that similar mold, where I actually think people look at his numbers. He's got very similar numbers to Anthony Gordon this season, but I think the way Everton plays is actually quite difficult for someone like that to really show their top level and their top skill set. I think if he comes to a team where we, as I said at the top of the pod, we build through our wingers, we try to get them lots of touches on the ball. If this guy's getting lots of touches on the ball, I think really good things are happening in the final third, personally. So yeah, that's someone who I'd be interested in taking a look at, to be fair.
I definitely think we need players that are very adept in the 1v1. So, like, I think Njai I would probably prefer to Barcola just because I've seen him more. I think his feet are better, and he can play both sides. And I know that, like, if the ball, if it's a tight area, he will try to take on someone. Like, what I really hate about Martinez's performance, I feel like it was the performance of a coward. Like, he did not take on his man once this whole game. I think he went once inside to cross it, and underhit the cross, but he never really like stood up his man and said, "Yeah, I'm gonna take you that bad, and I'm gonna go inside. I'm gonna try and move past you." Saka was he had I think he had 2 or 3 dribbles actually and got away from people. Madueke had a couple dribbles. Like, at a bare minimum, you need to be trying to go past a man. If it doesn't work, then I can say, okay, honest work. I hate Gyökeres, but honest work. He's trying it. The quality is not there. Martinelli, I think he has some of the quality to make that happen. And it was the performance of a coward tonight from him.
Yeah, I hear that. I can't even disagree, man. I can't disagree. I think there was that phase of play where we actually had possession for solid, 2, 3, 4 minutes. Went out to Martinelli on the left. Him and Hincapié were just kind of passing it between themselves. And I'm like, look, guys, is someone going to deliver? Is someone going to try to take someone on? Is someone even just going to play the reverse pass to someone who is running and underlapping? It actually drives me mad that we never play that pass. I think Noni tried it once this match and lost the ball, but Salah doing that reverse pass is cash money. His delivery and that pass that he does, where he managed to get backspin on it, is quality. But I'm like, look, guys, like, if Rice is making an underlap, try find him. If Hincapié is making an underlap, try find him, because if you can deliver on your strong foot, you might be able to get something there. And we never seem to do it. So that really disappointed me. And then it led to a flipping Atletico shot at the other end, because it ends up at the centre backs. Someone tries to overplay, and it's just like, we could have got a corner, we could have got a shot. They might have had a goal kick, but you can reset. Instead, it ends up being a shot for them, and that happens so often because we're just kind of scared of losing the ball, man. Which ain't great.
Or we don't have enough personality to take the game to someone. I'm just on transfer market looking at like the market value of what they perceive are like. I'm not going to read out all the left wingers, but I think maybe some interesting names that could be linked to Arsenal. I think Kenan Yildiz, he signed a new contract, so it doesn't sound like he'll be moving. I reckon we will link to Leao again. I don't think he's having the greatest season in Serie A at AC. He's very inconsistent. He's got a lot of ability, but I remember us watching the tapes, man. That touch can be ass. He's very lele, but he can do bonkers things, basically. What else is on this list? Said Elmana, he's been linked with Chelsea. He's a winger that plays for FC Köln in Germany. Nusa is still there. He's only 21 still at RBL. Then my man Mika Gertz that you had mentioned earlier. Somerville at West Ham is 24. Like,
yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Somerville is not a bad shout. Somerville is not a bad shout, because the way he's moving in 2026, he's kind of, I think, living up to some of the early potential that people maybe saw in his technique. Yeah.
Malik Fofana is still about. He's 21 years old.
Did he do his ACL?
Did he? I'm not sure. I haven't really followed. I'm just looking at the name. He might have done it. I don't know if he.
Because I think that's why he's not really been spoken about this season. Yeah, in October, right, serious right ankle sprain apparently.
Oh, ankle sprain is not bad.
No, but it said months on the sidelines from October.
Okay. And yeah, man, this list is.
Yeah, he had ankle surgery in October.
Okay, that's not great. Yeah, this list is not looking amazing. So, there's not that many top level options.
Yeah, the thing is, I
think
think
it's market right now.
It's all about, for me, I think it's all about profiling though for me, man, and making sure we get guys who are one, technically sound, right? So even if they're not having a good day, it don't mean you're a turnover machine, and then two, who can really dribble, and where I'm confident in your dribbling ability, right? And then the rest will come, mad wake, not a mad wakey where you're just flipping, running the ball out, one action might be good, one action might be shit because your technical base is too higgy, So
that Ryan at Bournemouth, can he play left wing? He's mainly playing right wing, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Krupi could be left wing, but he doesn't seem like someone that takes someone on. Just don't think
yeah, so in that same vein, 12 Play UK says 3 realistic transfers in to change our lives this summer.
Realistic.
Tough one. Realistic. I'm not gonna lie, Julian Alvarez.
Yeah,
would be the huge. We've seen it today, right? This guy's ability to generate his own shots, create space, to leg it, is infinitely better than Gyökeres's touch. Him and Griezmann, I think, work really well because both of them can drop in and spin in behind as well. Griezmann doesn't run in behind so much anymore, but
yeah,
I think they actually caused us some issues with them dropping into
one touch
and dropping in exactly. So I think that would be a good addition. I'm not gonna lie.
I think we definitely agree on Alvarez. I think we can. That's we can lock in that pick. I think most in the group would agree, apart from a few maybe. I'm
not gonna lie. I'm still a bit like, I wouldn't say I'm super convinced on him and his ability to score loads of goals, but I think that is a life-changing signing because of who we are.
How you can play football for us, yeah,
and who we are.
Opening up the game for what we can do,
and who would be coming out the team as well. I'm not gonna lie, and he will be coming out the team.
Yeah, that's true.
Centre mids, because we've spoken about left wing as well. So centre mids, who would you be looking at?
So centre mid, I find interesting because my opinion on centre mids is a bit different to the rest of the group. Everyone is always doing Rice 6, 2 10s. That's not for me the template to be winners in Europe. I look at more 6-8 hybrids and then maybe 8-10 hybrids. And really, I think we need to help Rice as well. There's clear strengths in Rice game, where he's actually elite at some of these, and we see that more in Champions League games. I think he's kind of preserving himself, I think, for these games at the moment, because the way he's been playing in the league it's not been great, and it's been quite timid actually. But tonight he was great, for example. So Rice is a sure pick. Who do we play alongside him? We need to play someone that complements him and is just more proactive. We've seen how he played with Jorginho, who had no legs, with Partey, who had no legs as well. And then Partey was also doing dumb shit in the end as well. Jorginho was still responsible with the ball. On and off the pitch, he was doing a lot of dumb shit. But we need someone that is a real ball player. Like, I'm controlling the game. I don't think Zubimendi's that. I think the best we've seen of Zubimendi is actually when he's further up the pitch and he's winning second. He's actually amazing at winning second balls. Like, he's a small player. He wins loads of headers. He wins lots of duels over short distances. And he releases the ball very quickly on left and right foot. That's probably his biggest strength. And he's quite good in, like, the gegenpress. But when he's that deep, he doesn't run the game like that. So I think we need someone that can really run the game. And I'm looking at, in Europe, there's not many players off the level that can do it. I think last summer you guys gave me some bullets, but I think Kimmich would have been an amazing signing for us. Like, Kimmich, if I compare to what Zubi and Rice do, I think Kimmich and Rice playing next to each other, that would have been amazing. I don't think that's realistic now. But what is the nearest thing? I think Camavinga's career at Madrid's got to be over. He's on that bench all the time. He's been having injuries. Okay, injuries is not great for us, but I think that is a signing you take a gamble on. I think he's still only 23 or 24. And I think that is the signing I'll take a gamble on, like Camavinga and Rice, and then Zubimendi to complement the guys, and be more of a squad player. I don't think he needs to be a starter. I think he's a good player, but I don't think he needs to be a lock pick. So I would look at Camavinga. I think that there's got to be movement at Madrid, man. With 2 trophyless season for them means that there's going to be some movement, and I think they'll try go for Rodri, which means one of the midfielders will have to go. And if I put my money on one, then that'd be Camavinga, to be honest.
Yeah, I hear that, man. I hear that. And I think I would not be against the Camavinga signing. I personally would like to see, pardon me, MLS used, because I think some of the skill set that MLS has in midfield were really lacking, both from a line breaking perspective with his passing.
Cook's dying. Is that hay fever?
Yeah, I don't even know what that was. I think something went up the wrong way, but
damn, okay.
Yeah, I think with passing, but also the carrying and the dribbling, risk taking, receiving on the half turn. I mean, I think that is what we've really missed. I do agree with you in terms of we need a proper ball player in there next to Rice, because I think that is where he has always shown his best football for Arsenal, is where he doesn't have the main build-up responsibilities, right? I think he's okay at build-up if he has a primary partner who takes that responsibility, right? I think Rice and Zubimendi is just not progressive enough with passing as a pairing. I thought Zubimendi might add some of that, but actually, when we did the scouting, his numbers were never that high in progressive passing, even in La Liga, where you have more space and potentially more time in midfield to really get that game off. So it shouldn't actually be that surprising here that he's come in and has not really done that. Obviously the FB refs have gone. Now we don't have access to that, but I'm pretty sure the progressive pass will be very, very similar to what we saw for him for Sociedad, right? And so I think that is something that has now completely exited midfield, and I think we need to bring that back.
And do you know what it is as well? It's not just progressive passes, because you can, and they were a good pairing for half a season without being that progressive with the ball, because they could squeeze up the pitch and they could dominate other teams. But as soon as that physicality wears off a little bit, or the other team can most teams can't overcome it because we are quite organized with it. But if we can't overpower other teams, then we do struggle with it, and then you need other solutions. And quite frankly, Norgard is not a solution. And MLS, I think, could be one. I think Camavinga is. I don't think it's realistic right now, but I think it's one that could move this summer. If I had to be like, we need to move and get this guy, Norgard out. We need this squad player in that can definitely give me what we need, because we are not sure that the bigger pieces are going to move. Then I would try go and get Yuri Tillemans. To be honest, I think he's like 28 now, maybe coming 29. There's got to be a point where they can't charge us that much money for him anymore, but he still has the quality. Like in a game like today, he can slap that through the lines left and right. He can slap it in behind for
automatic with
that's
the
someone
passing,
I would go to try maybe complete the squad or help complete the squad further.
That's not a bad shout, to be honest. And I think Tielemans and Rice would be a superb partnership, to be honest. In terms of what both of them give off the ball. I think that's why we didn't necessarily go for him on a free.
It's like Jorginho.
Yeah, so yeah, that's not a bad shout, man. That's not a bad shout. And Conway T says, "Evening, lads. Odegaard is most likely injured / knock. How are we setting up for Fulham and Atletico Part 2?"
This is why the Ethan was a mistake. Like, Eze could have been chilling on that bench. Ethan could have started this game. Eze coming on, like, he's just limited your options a bit. Like, we've been hoping for Odegaard to get fit. Like, and I think people have been actually really harsh on him. Like, obviously, people are tired of him. And I think he's helped us actually in the last couple of games to look a bit better. We looked definitely worse before he came back in, but yeah, we can't be hoping on the guy to be fit every week. If he's cooked, then they need to do the necessary this summer. Let's see if he's going to be available for the game, but it seems like he has got some real injury problems. Same as Havertz, to be honest. Like these guys, they look like they need a few weeks to recover before they can start playing properly again. Obviously, the cadence of games doesn't help them, but yeah, I think what he's saying, if Odegaard is injured, like who are we playing? Like what are options, bro? Fuck, like Rice and Zubi again, 90 minutes. Like this is probably a game where he should get Norgard in the lineup.
I don't see it though.
Not
I don't
for
see it,
Odegaard,
man.
but like in general, he should get Norgard in the lineup.
I don't see it. It's too much at stake, man. It's too much at stake.
I know.
Actually,
He will play this. He will play what we know he will play.
It's too much at stake. Maybe. But I think against Fulham, we have to try win that match in the first half. I really fear.
You won't do that though.
Yeah, but I fear that if we're not winning by half time, that game could get kind of long. To be honest, because I think fatigue is really slapping these man. You know, I think second half. I think that's one of the reasons why Atletico were able to get back in the game, just the lack of potential freshness that these men have in their legs. So yeah, let's see, man. Let's see. Big game Saturday evening. Big game Saturday evening. So yeah, guys. Thanks for joining us, German. Thanks for joining me. We'll be back soon. We'll do. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to watch this Fulham game properly. I'll probably be watching it on my phone, to be honest. But otherwise, we'll catch you guys soon. Tell you offline, man. I'll tell you offline, man. Yeah, I'll tell you offline, man. But otherwise, peace. Catch you guys soon, man. Take it easy.
All right.
Yo. When I spit bars in a rave, man, I go hard like Santan.